This morning, I woke up and had my normal morning coffee, and I turned on the news, and I happened to see an interview that was happening with the 4 astronauts from the Artemis II mission that went around the moon. And I found something very interesting in that conversation. As many of you already know, these folks were 1 white female, 1 black male, and 2 white males. And they were from 2 different countries. They were from the United States and Canada. And they talked about all of the things that were very exciting about being an astronaut.
Astronaut, yeah.
But one of the things that they talked about was the fact that everybody that was involved in the mission, anybody that was in Houston, any engineer that was part of the process of building the rockets, they were all one team, and they all respected and supported each other.
And there's no I in team.
Now, what stuck with me with that was that this group of people did not talk anything about where they were from, who they were. Half of them don't even like the attention that they're getting from being famous astronauts now. And that got me thinking about how in live music, it kind of works the same way. You are a team, regardless of your differences, regardless of your perspective on life, regardless of your musicianship, your ability to perform on stage. You are a team when you are up on stage together. And regardless of what you think, that is how your audience is going to see you. You are one group of people that is doing something as a team together, okay? And why that is important in this conversation is I want to talk about the thing that has been dividing a lot of great teams and a lot of great bands in the last several years, and that is politics. Now, don't get mad at me yet, because I want to talk about not my politics, and I don't want to talk about anybody else's politics. I want to talk about why we should take that out of the equation. Welcome back to Danny Robertson Music, where we're helping you be the performer that you are meant to be. I'm Danny. Thank you for joining me. As always, I really appreciate you coming and paying attention to these videos. We're going to talk politics today, but it's not going to be the way that you probably think. I'm not going to tell you my opinion of a situation. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not going to tell you who the sitting president is in the United States. And we're not even going to talk about politics that's just in the United States. We're going to talk about it in terms of how it affects you and your bandmates when you are performing live, and why bringing politics into any musical situation is not only chaotic, it is dangerous. It can create a tension that does not need to be there, okay? So let's go. So I live in the United States, and if you're unfamiliar with the political climate here, let's just say it's a little bit heated.
You want a piece of me?
There are 2 main parties, and it's become increasingly divided over many, many years, and there's a lot of blame that goes on each side of the coin. It's not good overall for the American public, because it's creating this sense of them and us and vice versa. So even in normal conversation, it's becoming less and less common to have a conversation where there's mutual respect and discussion about political situations. But the United States isn't the only one that has political issues. For many years, Canada has had issues in terms of a particular province that has a large French population, doesn't agree with a lot of the English population. That has created political tension in Canada. I'm sure there are plenty of things that are going on in Europe and Africa and Asia and Australia. It's easy to have an opinion about a lot of these situations. As a musician, though, and as a performer, I can tell you, it's probably much better for you if you learn to keep those opinions to yourself. As a performer, you're going to be exposed to a lot of different kinds of politically motivated situations. For example, there are weddings that are very, very conservative, that everybody believes in going to church the next morning, right? Then I've also been at weddings that are very, very progressive. They're very much about, 2 people coming together that in some eyes, some might not believe that they should come together, that kind of thing. You have to be willing to be exposed to all kinds of things that you may or may not personally agree with. I've also been in cases where I have been at political rallies that we're the band that is playing the event that is supporting a candidate, and I might not personally support that candidate. I've been at political rallies on the other side where I've absolutely supported that candidate. In all of those situations, the people that are watching me perform live will have no idea where my political beliefs sit. That's not my job. My job is to be the performer, be the musician, be the entertainer, support the event that I'm at. It doesn't matter if I agree with it or not. I've also been in situations where one of my bandmates is getting political and pushing an agenda. And they either are pushing it on everybody else in the band, or they are getting into a heated argument with somebody that completely disagrees with them. The problem with those cases is you're creating chaos. You are putting yourself into a situation where the band, at best, will have terrible chemistry on stage because there is a heated argument happening there. At worst, you might screw the performance up completely. This is why it's so important to keep your opinions out of these situations. There can be a time and a place for these conversations, but my personal opinion is keep it out of situations where you're expected to be a professional. The events and shows and performances that you play and the people that you play with, they're not all going to agree with you. So don't have that conversation because you're expected to be professional. So in order to reframe your thinking on this, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Take a bandmate that you have known and you have either so completely agreed with for years or disagreed with all of those political kinds of conversations. Let's take that bandmate and let's pretend you've never met them before. You meet them for the first time, you'd go out to coffee or something like that, and you talk about music. You know, what are their influences in music? What made them the musician that they are today? Where did they learn from? You talk about their life and their family, you know, the car that they had while they were growing up. You talk about the things that are not political. And based on what you find out about that bandmate, how would you feel about them at that point? Not because of who they believe in or what political party they support, because of their content of their character. Do you feel that that person is respectful and deserves respect? I can tell you that personally, when I reframe my thinking like that, that answer becomes yes for just about everybody, even the ones that I don't agree with. I'm lucky enough to play in a band that has almost 40 people in it working together. And on top of that, I fill in with a couple of other bands that also have really, really good people. And the weird part is I like pretty much all of them. I don't necessarily agree with all of their politics or their life choices, but they're genuinely good people. I enjoy playing music with them, and I enjoy the time that I get to have conversations with them and get to know them. You know, at the end of the day, everybody that you'll ever play a gig with, everybody that you're going to share a stage with, they're just human beings. Regardless of political party, regardless of life choices, they want love and respect. The same things that you would want, the same things that I would want. If you learn to reframe your focus from being right about a particular situation or a particular belief that, quite frankly, in most cases won't matter a year from now, to being respectful, to being genuine, to being kind, you're going to make your performances better. You're going to make your band better. You're going to make your audience happier. Take this into your daily life. Learn to treat other people with love and respect, whether you think they deserve it or not. Love and respect is what makes the world a better place. When you go to play a gig, learn to leave those politics at the door. You, your group, your audience will thank you for it. So that's it for this week. Please let me know if you've had any disagreements within your band and how you handled that. I want to hear that in the comments this week, okay? Best of luck to you on your next gig. Treat each other kindly, and we'll see you soon. Take care.